Hey guys, God bless you all. I want to take a moment and talk about the forest fires out in California. Um, just a lot of information has been flooded with me recently on this. I kind of dove into it a little bit, um, and I just want to put together a video, some pictures, and some accounts of what's going on out there. We're going to start with this photo right here. Okay. Um, a forest fire burns at 1400 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. Um, and that's according to my search. What we see here is we have this line, this scorch line that goes completely by this car and it kind of disappears. You can't really see it back in here. We obviously have all this vegetation that's that's intact. In the background, notice there's all vegetation. There's nothing askew here. But we have this car in the middle of nowhere, okay, that is completely obliterated. Now, aluminum melts at 1200 degrees. So, in accordance with the forest fire, it could melt or should melt. Um, but that's at the height of the heat that it would have to take to melt that aluminum. Okay, so the 1400 is the high end of a forest fire. But yet we see nothing remnant of a forest fire in this picture. Um, and there's a lot of pictures like this. I'm going to show you another one here. Um, this right here, we have the 1200 degrees that was obviously present, melting the aluminum. But right next to it is a scorched tree. And again, we have other vegetation around here. We have this line, okay, that's cut in a way. None of this green burned except right through here. And yet we have evidence of 1200 degrees Fahrenheit at a minimum melting this aluminum, either rims or whatever it was back here. So these are the things that are just really not making sense. Now, let's take a look at another photo here. Um, let's look at this one here. This here, we have obliterated homes. Okay, obliterated homes. Again, we got some scorch lines here, right through here. Um, but yet nothing at all is standing. There's no granite that we can see, no granite countertops, porcelain toilets, tubs, everything, steel, metal, is consumed. But yet directly across the street, everything has appeared normal. Everything's appeared normal. How can this be? It just does not pass the logical test. Here we have a tree still standing, but yet everything here is consumed. Now, I'm a cop and I've seen a few fires. I've responded to a few fires. And the normal thing that I see is that there's a fire, and yes, the firemen get there generally pretty quick, put it out, and you can say, well, this has been burning for how many weeks now? I understand all that. But there is nothing, there is no evidence of anything here. Nothing. Now let's just Google a house fire aftermath real quick. This is house fire aftermath. Again, one house, one fire, firemen get there, put it out. I understand all that. But look at how much is still left intact. I mean, you have something like this, which is, I would say, completely destroyed. Okay, but you still have some shingles. You still have some things there. Excuse me. But everything, not everything burned. You have brick. Um, you know, you can see with your own eyes that this is a typical fire, or these are typical fires. There's just nothing. There's just something wrong with this. Okay. Um, let's take a look at something else. This right here is a Ford truck. And I find it very odd. I mean, look at this. This is like a cut that went completely through here, but yet this is untouched. This tire should at least be melted, something. Um, but everything in here is completely destroyed, including the metal. But this tire's okay? Something just doesn't add up. Okay, here's another one I cut off my Facebook page. And, I mean, look at this. Okay, let's start with this one down here. Surrounded by water, buildings are leveled. Yeah, you see some remnant there. I'm not sure what all's there, but trees seem okay, for what's there. Nothing in the entrance here is burned at all. Totally intact. I find this one really interesting too. You have this completely surrounded by vegetation. Everything's leveled, but you have all this vegetation. This is not a forest fire. This is not a fire that came into a community. There's no way. You can't tell me that. So again, aluminum, steel, all that stuff, everything's obliterated. Now this, I would say, if there was a huge fire, would kind of make somewhat sense. Again, you have everything out here kind of untouched. These cars don't look like they're destroyed at all. But again, guys, nothing is left. Everything's leveled. Everything. There's nothing left that suggests any type of reprieve for this fire whatsoever. The trees are still standing, and yes, they could be scorched, and they could have been left standing, some of them. I get that. But it just seems odd to me that if we have a fire of this intensity here, how are these things still standing and then didn't collapse or didn't fall? There's just too much evidence of, I don't know, something not right going on here. So I want to play this video real quick, and this guy's going to elaborate a little bit on what I just said. I just found him very interesting. So let's take a listen to him.
For one, we're being lied to. Let me show you the first photo here. Okay, this is a fire out in California. But if you'll notice something, they call it California wildfires, but none of the vegetation is burning. Only the houses. Only the houses. These are homes in specific spots that are on fire, whereas all of this vegetation is not burning. Not burning. Just the homes are burning. How does that happen? Let me close that photo. By the way, I want to close out this window so I don't embarrass myself too bad. I just noticed it was still open. But I want to close this window and go to the next photo. They're calling this California wildfires. All of the vegetation is standing, not burning, but the house in the background is burning. No vegetation around that house is burning. You can stop this video at any time and just verify what I'm saying. This house is on fire, but the vegetation around it is not. Same thing over and over. These trees, if it's supposed to be a forest fire, then how come they're called California wildfires, but even back down here, the vegetation, the wildfire is not in the wilderness. It's not, there's no forest burning. It's like they have declared war on human beings. If you look at this photo, and I showed this photo the other day, these homes have been destroyed to the very foundation. There is nothing standing. They are complete rubble and ash, yet the forest around has not burned. The automobiles have burned, and right there, I'm going to show more of this in a minute, but the aluminum from the wheels has melted and is running down the driveway. Aluminum on the wheels. Glass has gone out of the windows. How did this car catch on fire when it's sitting out here in the street along with this one? Vegetation still burning. I mean, still active and still there. Now, let me tell you something about pine trees that I know. The sap in a pine tree burns like kerosene. I've seen these pine trees go up in forest fires before, but this one is much different, much different. I'm going to go on, and you're welcome to pause this and just take a look at the total devastation of the homes. By the way, they're saying close to 1,500 people or more are missing, and now they're starting to find that their bone was reduced to pure ash. Look at this photo in Canada. All of the green grass is still there in the vegetation, but all of the homes are the same thing that happened in California. There's one that's been reduced to nothing in the basements. The basements. See the basements? But the vegetation around is still intact. This did not come in from a forest fire. These homes burned from the inside out. People think I'm crazy, but let me just tell you this. Look at this. All of these homes are burned from the inside out. I'll continue. See these? Reduced to nothing, but the vegetation is still standing. But these are reduced with a very fervent and hot heat, and they are reduced.
This is like 9/11 all over again. You know, the whole argument, jet fuel melting steel. I mean, this is just ludicrous. And you know, I've had comments on my Facebook like, you know, just ridiculous comments like, get a grip, you know, type of thing. But you can't tell me this makes sense. I'm sorry, guys, I've had a cold. You can't tell me this makes sense. This makes no sense. This is purposely started, purposely engineered. The question's how. And I'll give you a possible how here in just a second.
Absolutely nothing. How did this car catch on fire? How do these vehicles sit here and burn, but the vegetation around them did not ignite it? This is in Sonoma, California. I'll continue here. I have never in my entire life seen anything like the devastation that I'm seeing here. These homes are reduced to total ash, to nothingness. The trees are still standing, but the heat that it took, that tree did not ignite that truck to the point that it burnt like it did.
Exactly.
These are burned beyond. These homes, you can't even tell that there was a home there. If there were people in these homes, they were cremated, nothing left. You know, I heard about a fire. I heard about a fire. It seemed to me like it was during the Christmas season.
So I immediately thought of this scene when I started looking at this.
Photo shocked me more than any other. The fire started in the middle of these homes and burnt outward. The outward, in other words, none of the vegetation burned into the homes. The homes were incinerated from the inside out. Inside out. It is the most amazing photo I have ever seen in my life.
I mean, this is disgusting. I mean, look at this. This is a targeted area from above. All right? This is a targeted area from above. It's exactly what happened. They've obliterated all these homes by some sort of direct energy weapon. I mean, that sounds very, very, very crazy, doesn't it? Direct energy weapon did this. All these homes. He's absolutely right. They took a swipe of a laser and they swiped it across this neighborhood. Swiped it across. It's just, I'm going to play, do your own research on direct energy weapons. There's a lot of information out here with Lockheed Martin. Actually have it on their homepage. We'll go there real quick. It's right here on their page. Even gives you an example. They broadcast their plans just like they did in the movie. They broadcast their plans before they do them. And take a look, do your own research. I'm not here to provide every answer. I'm just here to stir your mind, to let you look for your own. I will play one more video that shows this. They call them DEWs, direct energy weapon, and you can take your own. I'm sorry, guys, I'm not feeling well today. You can take your own 2 cents and look at it. But let's see what this lady has to say here.
Good morning, everybody. It is October the 14th, 2017. I'm Cindy K. Courier. And I got a question for you. Is it possible that a weapon like this could have caused the California fires? Check it out.
ABL has demonstrated all of the key technologies needed to bring a new generation of weaponry to warfighters. High-power weapon systems testing is the next step. All airframe modifications are complete, and the plane has logged over 500 flight hours of operational testing, involving over 100 sorties. The high-energy laser's power and runtime have been demonstrated, and components have been fully refurbished. Laser integration into the aircraft will be followed by activation and high-power lasing tests on the ground and in flight, leading to the shoot-down of a threat ballistic missile in 2009. This requires focusing the lethal beam at extended ranges, precisely on target, on a very short timeline.
Let me just say, when I went to war in 2005 to 2006, they had this technology was prevalent then. Okay, so this is obviously a manned aircraft. I'm sure they have these on drone platforms now, and that's what I'm suggesting. Probably is it was a drone that did this. Probably some Manchurian candidate drone operator. I don't know. I have no idea. But there's a thousand different possibilities. Russians, who knows? Even UFOs were sighted in California before these fires began. So I'm not sure the method. All right, but I definitely can see the outcome is not natural. Is not natural at all. But I'll continue this video real quick.
It is here that a speed of light directed energy weapon provides unique advantages, countering the missile threat during its vulnerable boost phase and providing track information and cueing to other elements. ABL is a force multiplier for the entire ballistic missile defense system. In 2007, ABL successfully demonstrated one of its most challenging tasks: illuminating, tracking, and propagating an atmospherically compensated beam against a distant target. The system demonstrated that it could illuminate the target with a low-power track illuminator laser, TIL. The return of the TIL beam off the target is then used to achieve a high-precision track and the rapid designation of an aim point for the high-power laser. Once precision track of the target is established, the beacon illuminator laser, or BIL, measures the wavefront distortion caused by the intervening atmosphere. Corrections are applied to the high-power beam optics, which in an actual engagement would result in more than lethal energy deposited on the target. Repeated multiple times with a substitute low-power laser at the same wavelength as the larger chemical laser, each engagement required...
So direct energy weapons, something you want to look at. They're claiming to use it to shoot down missiles. Yeah. Like I said, the technology's definitely advanced since then, since 2005, 2007. Anyway, guys, just food for thought. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Obviously, things are not always what they seem. I think most of the audience knows that. But God bless you all. Take care and be safe.